Alright, this is Animaniatrix. I'm Alpha Treyu and I'm here with
Oasis Gym.
Alright, and we just finished Tower of God. And this was something that I had highly anticipated. What were your thoughts, Oasis?
Well, first, I like the entrance. I like the theme of when they first come on and the song, the music that they play.
Right. I still got that song stuck in my head now.
I think it's very inspiring and makes you want to be successful and progress.
Very motivating song.
Very motivating.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the better openings that I've heard in anime. So I do have to agree with that.
I like it a lot.
So some of my thoughts, my initial thought of Tower of God, for the first half. Well, for one, it sucks you in, which I did like. However, it sucked me in, but I was kind of confused about a lot of the backstories about what is going on around the tower. This is definitely something I feel like you would have to watch twice to really appreciate it. Because, in my opinion, basically, I was watching this thing and though I was enjoying it, I wouldn't say I was hype. I was hype about it until the end. Like I was just telling Oasis, I'll give this thing about 7 out of 10 on my anime list. I give it a 7 out of 10 up until the very last episode, and that very last episode, or like the second to last episode, how the second to last episode ended, where Rachel basically betrays Bomb, and my jaw hit the floor. I was completely shocked at that. But the following episode, the season finale, where they basically show you everything, all the underhanded shit that's going on throughout the entire time with this girl Rachel. It's like, okay, you're basically rewatching the entire show all over again from her perspective, and it kind of fills a lot of gaps, answers a lot of questions.
Yeah, it does.
So, and I think that episode alone set the entire show off for me. I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely way better of a show than I was giving it credit for watching it the entire time. I know some people might not appreciate or not think that this show was that interesting or that good, but I ended up giving this show a 9. I ended up giving this show a 9 because, as I said, the everything that I missed. Well, I won't say everything because there are still things that are to be answered, but that's part of the reason why I liked it. Some things, it's like we're jumping into a story from the first person view of what's currently going on, but there's obviously more than meets the eye. There's more going on, and with all the colorful characters in the show, everybody has a backstory. There's stuff going on that adds more depths. I feel like it contributed to the story. Everybody having their own walk. Like the guy Ho who ended up dying. He had his motivations for coming to the tower. Everybody had, having their different walks had their own motivations. I just feel like some of the questions that you might have, like the guy Croc, like who is this Croc and where is he coming from? What's his story? Then you got the princesses of Jihad. They didn't really go into that. I wanted to know more about the hierarchy or the echelon system, and there's just a lot of questions that I had, but I don't think it took away from what what was in front of us as far as the story that was being told, and as the that reoccurring narration. This is a story about a boy named Bomb and a girl named Rachel. That was the focus. You tend to forget that this is what we're supposed to be paying attention to. We're supposed to be looking at the story between him and this girl. Right? What did you think about everybody calling Bomb the biggest simp in anime?
I don't think it was right. They didn't give him enough credit. I think he was a good character.
They say that he was the biggest simp for Rachel. He was just simping, and she was just taking advantage of him the entire time. People say, they would not be simping that hard. See, you're a female. What you think of that? A guy simping that hard for the girl?
Yeah, he was simping a bit, but he was in love.
So you think that was justified? You liked it?
He goes romantic.
It was romantic. So yeah, okay. Well, you think guys should be simping like that out here? Guys, you think that's how guys should be out here getting females?
No, not really.
We should follow after Bomb's example. To be honest,
Now that you put it that way, just no.
I do think Bomb was a simp. He was a simp, and it was making me mad from the very first time they said this is a story about a girl that wants to climb the tower and the boy that's chasing after her ass. I was like, what? That's what we're about to watch. I'm about to sit through 13 episodes of this nigga going after a bitch that's not even worried about him. But then I was like, as I said, as the story unfolded, once you start to dig into Bond's personality, it started to make sense. Bond is like a child. You know what I'm saying? He's like a little boy, and he has a heart of a kindergartner. I think a lot of boys can understand, when you was a child, how you might have had your first love at first sight, or your high school sweetheart, or your first crush. You were kind of like that for her. It's just that Bond's a grown ass man, or however old he is, and he's like a kid. And he's not just like a kid when it comes to Rachel. He was a kid for everybody. Why can't we all get along? It's like everybody's cutthroat, going at each other's necks. Everybody's going at each other's necks, and why can't we get along? Why can't we just be friends? At first, I was like, come on, dude. You're kind of like Butters off of South Park. You're very naive. But then, his personality did grow on me as it did with everybody else. They started to like it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see why people started to like Bomb. Because, he's like not corrupted.
Yeah.
He still has the heart of a child. He's still innocent. And he still has that purity. And, being in that tower made everybody else, very cutthroat and, want to kill. Basically go at each other's necks and stuff. And he was just a breath of fresh air to everybody that, doesn't understand him.
I think so too.
So, but I gotta say, again, for me, I tend to like genius characters. That's just my thing. Any anime I'll watch, I like a character that is highly intelligent. And I forget the guy's name again. These anime names are not easy to remember. But the Blue Turtle. Blue Turtle was that for me. He did that for me. He was the brains of the show. And normally I don't discriminate against the brains of the show, but this guy was he kind of missed the mark for me. I can't think of a show, I can't think of an anime where there's an intelligent character. Like you got other shows like Code Geass or, Shikamaru from Naruto, where, the characters displaying a high level of intelligence that I don't like. I really can't think of that. But this guy would probably be it for me. His character, although I did appreciate the fact that he started to, kind of like bond with Bomb. He kind of, he ended up being on Bomb's side and ended up protecting and defending Bomb. I did appreciate that. However, as a character, I think this guy was a little, I don't know. He's not up there with these other characters like you have Sora and Shiro from No Game No Life, or those brains. I thought those are some of my most favorite characters in any anime. Really, usually the brains of the show is always my favorite character, but this guy, he fell short for me, and instead I ended up really liking the Croc guy. He was a riot. His screen presence was always something to look forward to in the show. But do you have any favorites or any thoughts on the Blue Turtle?
Well, I liked his power that he used with his book bag. I thought that was pretty neat. I do wish it would have showed more of him using his power with his book bag. I would have liked to have seen that.
And speaking of his book bag, wasn't there like a whole crew in his bag? At one point, he had like a whole squad in his bag.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Where did they go?
What happened to them?
I did not see them at the last. Where was it? The last test, right? Mm-hmm. Where did that little squad go? It's funny. I didn't think of it before, but I was really paying attention to the one girl that was in his bag. I don't know. Maybe they explained it and I just missed it. But yeah, that little squad that he had in his bag vanished for the final test, or maybe they lost. Maybe that was it. I don't know. They might have lost during that the exam right before that one.
I think they may have lost.
Yeah.
Why we didn't see them again.
Okay, but that might have been it. But I did think that was hilarious and clever that he had a whole team in his bag at his beck and call when he needed them.
Yeah, that was good. I like that.
All right, so
I didn't really like Rachel pushing Bomb off of, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Off at the end.
Right.
That made me really sad.
Right.
And it was unexpected.
Right. Totally caught me off. I was just as blindsided as Bomb.
He was all for her. He wanted to help her through from the beginning to the end, and she was just like, yeah.
Right.
Done.
Look, I was like, at first I didn't like that bitch. Like, from the beginning I didn't like her. But then once she got paralyzed, she started growing on me. Okay, she's crippled. Alright, they're going to work together and stuff. Like, to be honest, the way that this show ended was completely unexpected for me. Yeah, at first I didn't like her, but then she started to grow on me as she seemed to start coming around. She started to come around, especially when they paralyzed her. She started to come around. I was like, okay, she's growing on me. Bomb's finally with her. You know what I'm saying? But then she pulls this.
Right. And
I'm like, oh, no, hell no. Fuck this bitch. What the hell?
Yeah, that made me not like her either. I knew there was something off about her, but I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. So I'm like, maybe. maybe I give her a chance.
Right, right. And I
Give her
was
a
like
little
that with the
chance.
rest of the characters too, like the Queens of Jihad. You know, at first I really didn't like those girls either, but then they started to come around, and I was like, okay, you know, they were started to warm up to me. I really appreciated the reptilian girl. I'm not sure her name. The imposter, the so-called imposter princess. I liked her fighting, you know, from the very beginning. Personality wise, character wise, I had to learn what her motivations were to understand why she had the attitude that she had. But then, like I said, you know, she was one of the worst attitudes. But eventually, she came around too, and you know, everybody started to be as Bond imagined them to be. You know, to you know, everybody coming together. And as he said in the end, like, you know, they're all his friends and they're very smart and capable of getting him through that final test. You know, and they was in allegiance with him. So why why this one fell off? Oh man. Oh man. She wanted to climb the tower that bad.
What was it? She wanted to see again the stars.
She wanted to see the
The
stars.
stars, like for real, really.
She wanted to see the stars, but that's why the bull, what's his name, Hedon Rabbit, he was like, "No, you don't want to see the stars. You want to be a star." So he called her. He called her. He pulled her card. He was like, "Yeah, you want that? I want to be a star bullshit. Nah, no, you want to be a star."
And then Bond got what's his name? Bond.
Black Turtle.
Then Black Turtle got up
Yeah.
and was still talking about Rachel.
Oh yeah. After
I'm like, this guy.
Yeah, he was.
Now I don't know what to think of him. How do you get played like that and still be thinking about the girl? Still be all about her. I didn't understand that.
Right. That's why, you know, I appreciated when that one princess where she came in and she was like, when she confronted Rachel about Mom, she was like, I hope whatever you're after is worth it. I hope whatever you're after is worth losing him over, because he seemed like really her relationship with him should outweigh whatever she could have got out of the tower. But then again, her saying she wanted to see the stars was bullshit. She really wanted more than she thought she was aspiring to have. Right? So she did want more. So her appetite was greater than she let on. But for us to believe that she's going to sacrifice Bomb, or you know, set him aside for her desires of just being to see the stars, for us it's like, what? That's nonsense. Why would you? Just to see him. I understand you never saw him before, but you got a whole nigga right here. Like, you got a whole dude that's willing to go through all of this simply for you. And so I did like at the end where he's like, you know, showing the different things that and different trials and tribulation that Bomb had to go through specifically to have and possess Rachel. And it just really exaggerated just how selfish this girl is, and just how what she was willing to do, how much of a savage this girl is.
Yeah, he didn't deserve that. He went through way too much to get that kind of treatment from her.
Now, when I first started, my first impression when I heard about this show, I was like, okay, this is most likely going to be an anime that's like kind of like an isekai, or, you know, like an adventure or something type of anime. I didn't realize it was going to be like the Hunger Games. You know, that's what I was feeling, the vibe that I was getting. But I assumed that the tower, like anytime I hear about a tower, I'm always going to think of the Tower of Babylon. You know, the biblical Tower of Babylon. But in this case, I was like, okay, this can't be relative to the Tower of Babel. This has to be, you know, Tower of God most likely is talking about something else. But I started to feel like as everything was explained in the end, I started to really get that Tower of Babel vibes. And I started to feel like that, okay, I started to think that, okay, this is a very spiritual show. This show is really, really highlighting and showing a lot of themes that are biblical. Everything from the relationship between Bond and Rachel to Hedon seeming as though he's played like the serpent that is tempting people to pursue what their heart's desire is, to the tower, and you have to climb the tower to reach God. Like, all these things started to seem like it didn't become clear to me until the end. Like I said, initially, anytime I hear about a tower, I'm like, oh, Tower of Babel. But this is anime, so they're not going to go that route. Was I wrong? I don't know if this was intentional or unintentional, but it definitely felt like that this had a lot of biblical themes in it. And I think one of the most prominent themes was the relationship between Bond and Rachel. It's seeming like she's betraying Bond to pursue her desires. It's like the story of Adam and Eve, where Eve went against God and Adam because she wanted the promises of power from the serpent. Mm-hmm. Right? So, what are your thoughts?
Story sounds just like that. I agree. It is matching up with that story. How Eve wanted power and went against Adam. Well, yeah, I think so too.
Right. So, yeah. But anyway, as I said, I rated it a 9. What did you rate it?
I gave it an 8.
Give it an 8? Mm-hmm. Well, to me, I feel like, when things get that spiritual, like, I'm really into that spiritual, the spiritual themes, and so, like I said, that took it to another level for me, those deep understandings of the show. So that's why I feel like it got bonus points in my book. So anybody thinking about watching Tower of God, I would say watch it, but go into it with an open mind. Mm-hmm. Don't try to compare it to another show like Hunter x Hunter, but just because it has like the exams and those types of things, you got to come at it from a perspective of like it having a lot of depth and weight to it in order to really appreciate where the story was trying to go.
Yeah, definitely be patient with it.
All right, so I guess that's all for Tower of God.
Enjoy. Yeah.